It's alleged that these two tankers are part of what's called the shadow fleet, that is essentially smuggling Venezuelan oil that can't be sold under international sanctions to willing buyers around the world. This was one of those. According to the US Coast Guard and the US authorities, it had changed its flag, it had changed its name, it actually changed its flag to a Russian flag. And in this case, it's understood that Russia had in fact deployed a submarine to protect this vessel, and that the Russian crew on board have been arrested. And one Russian politician's been quoted by Reuters as calling this an act of piracy. So tensions high on the high seas, but really what this shows, I think, is the United States is really cracking down on any hint of oil coming out of Venezuela that might not be going to the United States, since, of course, its military operation to depose the Venezuelan president.
Have we heard anything further from the White House about what it intends to do with that Venezuelan oil that it's seizing? Yeah,
well, it's not just the oil that it's seized on these two tankers, and presumably there'll be others. It's also something like 30 to 50 million barrels of Venezuelan oil that is sitting there doing nothing because it can't be sold. Essentially, Venezuela has this massive stockpile of oil that is sitting there under sanctions. So what the United States has said, what Donald Trump has said, is that the interim Venezuelan government has agreed to hand that over to the United States, and the United States is already talking about selling it on Venezuela's behalf on the international market, or at least that's what it was sort of saying previously, that this oil would be sold and the proceeds would be distributed, as Marco Rubio put it, for the benefit of the Venezuelan people rather than a corrupt Venezuelan regime. But it was interesting. Today we had the first press briefing of the year from the White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, and she was asked about that, and there was a sort of slight change in language indicating that if and when this oil is sold, that the United States would be taking a cut, and that it'll be the American government deciding just what that cut will be.
All proceeds from the sale of Venezuelan crude oil and products will first settle in U.S.-controlled accounts at globally recognized banks to guarantee the legitimacy and integrity of the ultimate distribution of proceeds, and those funds will be dispersed for the benefit of the American people and the Venezuelan people at the discretion of the United States government.
She was also asked a question about whether the United States would direct the Venezuelan interim government to release political prisoners that had been held under the previous regime. To that, there was a lot less clarity. Essentially, she said, look, I haven't spoken to the president about that. You'll ask him, you'll have to ask him yourself.